Good evening and welcome to the real world. On Sunday, earlier this week, we spoke about wearing masks in shul and what it's doing to kehilas, and I got so much feedback. And somebody sent me a text message. He said, I saw your video where you said that people, even if they don't believe in wearing masks for themselves, you have to you're in shul with other people, you have to learn how to live with the people around you, b'shalom, and give them what they need. So he writes to me, he says, I want to play something. I'm davening in a shul for 15 years, and I don't talk by davening. And there's someone in my shul who never stops talking by chazas hashatz, by laning, whenever. He's always talking. And I asked him many times, please stop talking. And he always tells me the same thing. You're in your seat, you daven. I'm not making noise. It's not your problem that I want to talk by davening. And I've tried telling him, kadmainim, that which it says in this farm, that a shul is like a boat, like the fool who makes a hole under his seat in the boat and water comes in, he says, it's not your problem, it's under my seat. And a shul is the same thing. And he always laughs at me. He says, live and let live. So the guy sends me a text message. He says, Mr. Live and Let Live is now telling me, please wear a mask. It bothers him that I don't want to wear a mask in shul. Why do I have to listen to that? He's the one. His opinion is live and let live. So now he's telling me to wear a mask. Now, I don't know why someone would send that to me. I'm not a paisik. Sounds like something from Yitzchak Zilberstein. Anyhow, I think it's usher because it's nekama, irregardless of everything else. Whatever you believe, you're not allowed to do something bad to somebody can say something bad to you. But it was interesting. And it was fascinating to me, and it reminded me of such a beautiful story I once heard from a Yid who lives in the old city. He davens every morning shachris. There's a very, very big minyan. I think it's called Parash's minyan. One of the only Ashkenaz minyanim at the Kaisel for Vasikin. Big minyan. Rabbi Yisroel used to daven over there. Lieutenant Birnbaum, very famous minyan, right in the middle. Maybe you've davened there, maybe you've davened there and left, because it's probably the slowest minyan at the Kaisel. Rabbi Shapiro, all of us used to daven there as well. And this Yid told me that his wife had a medical problem, and she went to the doctor, and two different doctors gave her different advice. That she wanted a gadol to direct her how she should proceed medically. Very, very different advice. So he tried to get an appointment with Rabbi Shapiro. He didn't have much to do with him, but they davened together every morning, and he saw Rabbi Tefillah, saw Rabbi and Talis and Tefillah, and he saw the seeds of Malach. He wanted him to be the gadol. So he called up to get an appointment, and they gave him an appointment for over a year. It was about 13 months later, the Gabbai was able to fit him in. Ramesh had no time. Ramesh ran from Shir to Chavrusa, didn't sleep at all, and there wasn't a lot of time for such things. They gave him an appointment for over a year later when he would receive people. Fine. A couple of days later, at the Kasha, he says, good morning to Ramesh. And he tells this thing to Ramesh, the story that I called him, an appointment, they gave me an appointment, and I'm looking forward to the Rav, but it's a long time. My wife should be gesund and stark. The day after that, the Ramesh comes to him after Shachris, and the Ramesh says to him, could we go to your house right now? I want to talk to your wife. He says, now? It's really? Ramesh says, yeah. So the Ramesh together walks to the old city, they walk to the house, he goes ahead, he makes sure his wife is ready, and in comes Ramesh. Ramesh sat with him for a long time, over an hour, listening, counseling, guiding, advising, giving brachas, all of it. And they walked out, everything was amazing. He asked Ramesh, how could it be that if the Rav has no time, they gave me an appointment for a year. If the Rav has no time, then he has no time. If the Rav does have time, why do I have to wait a year? So Ramesh said he really doesn't have time. He says, people who daven together, we're family. We have a minyan together every single day. Maybe we don't talk much. Maybe we don't go to each other's simchas, but we daven together. That's family. Ramesha understood. I live in Montreal. Sometimes the car is stuck in the snow in the winter, and random people, passerby, get together, they push the car out. Sometimes one's Jewish and one's not Jewish. Somebody you don't know. You do know there's a bond when you're doing shared labor and effort and toil with somebody and you succeed. You feel something with each other. Rachel was saying every minyan that we do together, we're contributing to each other's tefillos for a minyan. We're a family. We're together. She says, how could I not make time for family? If it was my own family, I would have found time. So I found time for your family as well because we daven together. So at least let's use this opportunity when kehilas are being torn apart by machlokes. Maybe we could create that kind of Hasidim say over a story about a Yid who was sitting one day and Sruly was a little bit tired and he was still sitting by Yevarach David. So somebody else comes over to him and says, get up, you're not allowed to sit by Yevarach David in halach, you have to be standing up. So he looks at him, he says, 6 months, I'm sitting without a job and you said nothing. And he sits by Yevarach David, I'm sitting 6 months without a job, you haven't said a word, and now that I'm sitting by Yevarach David, you found your tongue all of a sudden. It's maybe apocryphal. Thank you. But what the story is telling us is, if you want to be able to tell a guy, stand up by Yevarach David, you better care that he doesn't have a job, that maybe he needs a loan, maybe he needs a place to eat on Shabbos. Let's start by treating the people in shul like family, and everything else will be so much easier.